Hey friends, what's happening? What's shaking? What's going on? This is Andy coming to you again from here at Andy's World of Bass, and today I'm going to talk to you about my Bergantino bass rig and kind of do a follow-up demo. I haven't done a whole lot of like demo-specific type of videos because this summer I've been very busy. I've been gigging a lot. I'm grateful for that. But it's really been a full-time occupation out there, gigging all the time and staying up on the material and everything that I have to do because I'm working with about 5 or 6 different groups. So that's a lot of repertoire to keep up with because it's always evolving. Anyways, going back to this particular video, what I want to talk about mostly is the cab, which is the new Extreme Vintage NXV 212 cab. Okay, and the most common concern or questions about it is, does it have a full range sound even though it doesn't have a horn, a tweeter horn speaker in it? It's just two of the heavy duty Neo 12-inch drivers, the ones that Jim Bergantino collaborated with Celestian on the design for. And the answer to that, in my opinion, is no, you don't need the tweeter. I don't need the tweeter. And I like the sound that these. I like the character and the flavor of the sound that's coming off of the paper in this cab. It just kind of reminds me of back in the days, you know, when I first started playing. None of the cabs that I played through had tweeters. They didn't start coming around till the late 80s. You know, I started in 82, and you know, SWR Goliath and whatnot. All that stuff started really coming around in the late 80s. So before that, we didn't even have tweeters. And I think one of the things that people really can't stand about certain bass sounds and certain bass techniques is what the tweeter actually brings. I'm just saying. The thing that they can't stand about, like slapping the bass and, you know, is that tweeter, bang, 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 it'll take your face off. And if overused, if used too much, if there's too much high end, it becomes very unmusical and very unbass very quickly. So I feel like it's a nice balance, you know, the super high frequency stuff and the transient peak. These are passive jazz basses, completely passive. So I think that vintage kind of sound is really happening because it allows for a big, wide, dynamic range. You know, if you start really digging in on an active bass with a lot of super boosted high frequency horn, it's going to turn to broken glass really quickly. I think that this has a really great full range sound. So there you have it. There's my impressions of the new Extreme Vintage 212 cab. I've used it on, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 gigs, if not more, this summer. And it's a fantastic standalone. It'll do the job all by itself in a lot of situations. And then on the big stuff where I really like a lot of, you know, paper, I like a lot of paper, meaning I like to have a lot of speakers. Then I use my HG412 with this, which is, you know, 612s. I pop the Forte HP down into 2 ohm load, and it's freaking awesome. I won't deny that I like a big full sound, but I don't have a sound that's oppressively, obnoxiously loud. I don't have band members and production staff telling me you're too loud, turn down. I know how to have a lot of speakers, create a lot of good sound that it's not just loud for the sake of being loud. That's something that everybody just has to learn on their own, you know. But what I like is a lot of clean headroom, a lot of dynamic range, transient peak clarity, and speed of the low end delivery. So that's kind of what I'm always after. I look for a pretty flat, kind of even response. I don't hype EQ. I go for a very flat kind of a sound, and typically when I'm trying to get the most out of any amplifier, I do reverse compensation. If I want more low end, I turn down the high end and turn up the master volume, and the opposite. If I want more high end, I'll turn down the low end and compensate with master volume. That way I'm actually cutting EQ and increasing volume. It's typically, I think that what can we do when we're first learning how to operate an amplifier to its best and most efficient place, we're searching for the sound that we want, so we boost the EQ to where it sounds good, but then when we turn it up, it doesn't sound as good once we need it to deliver that sound that we like louder. So what I've gotten used to is adapting my ability to get most of my sound from my hands and from the instrument simply by blending between the two pickups, because there's a big variety of sound within the two pickups and blending between them, and using the passive tone control. And I keep the amp, you know, for the most part pretty flat. Right now I have the bass boosted a little bit because with a completely passive bass, some of them can use a little bit of EQ help, particularly in an environment like this where I'm playing in my, you know, up here in my little music room at my house. If I'm on stage, I probably wouldn't need as much, because there's always more low end there than we think there is. So hope all of that is in some way or in some ways helpful for you, and especially in helping you decide if the Bergantino new Extreme Vintage Series cabs are going to be right for you. I like it. I like the vintage voicing. I like the sound of the high end that's coming off the paper. All right, friends, we'll see you next time. Peace.